All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on what is easily one of the most talked about technologies on the entire planet, artificial intelligence. Specifically, we're diving deep into the brains behind the magic, these things called large language models, or LLMs. Let's get right into it.
So, have you ever found yourself typing a question into an AI chatbot, and the answer that comes back is just so good, you have to wonder, how on earth did it know that? Does it actually think? Does it understand what I'm asking? Well, you're in the right place, because that's exactly what we're going to break down. To get our heads around this, let's start with a really simple idea. Just picture a robot that has read practically everything ever written on the internet. I'm talking every book, every article, every single website. This robot never gets tired, and it remembers pretty much everything it's ever seen. In a nutshell, that's an LLM. Okay, so for the more formal definition, a large language model is a type of AI built to understand and create text that feels like a human wrote it. And you've definitely seen these around. We're talking about tools like OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, or the LLMA models from Meta. They are very quickly becoming a part of our daily lives.
But what exactly is the large part of large language model? Well, it really boils down to three key things. First, the absolutely gigantic amount of text they learn from. Second, the massive computing power it takes to train them. And third, something called parameters. The easiest way to think of parameters is like billions of tiny adjustable knobs in the AI's brain. Each one helps to fine-tune its grasp of language.
And when I say billions, I really should be saying trillions. Some of these models have over 1 trillion of these tiny knobs, and every single one gets adjusted and tweaked during training. It's this mind-boggling scale that allows the AI to pick up on all the super complex patterns in human language, from basic grammar to facts and even different creative styles. So how in the world does it tune all those knobs? Well, it's actually all based on a surprisingly simple game. The entire foundation of how these incredibly complex models learn is by playing Guess the Next Word.
Okay, so here's how the game works. The AI sees part of a sentence, something like, "The cat sat on the," and then it has to predict the most likely next word. If it guesses Matt, great, it gets it right. If it guesses something else, it gets a tiny correction and it adjusts all those internal knobs to do a little bit better next time. Now just imagine repeating that process billions and billions of times. That simple game is how it learns grammar, facts, and even how to hold a conversation. And this brings us to a really crucial point. LLMs are not conscious. They don't understand concepts like love or justice the way you and I do. They are just incredibly sophisticated pattern matching machines. They have seen so many examples that they've become absolute masters at predicting which word is the most statistically likely to come next.
Okay, so it's a prediction machine, a very smart one, but still, what does that actually mean for us in the real world? What can you do with it? Well, let's take a look at the AI's to-do list to see what it can really handle. I mean, the list of what these models can do is already massive, and it just keeps growing every single day. They can answer your toughest questions, help you write an essay for school, summarize a super dense report for work, or even write computer code for you. It's kind of like having a super versatile writer, translator, and creative partner all rolled into one. And get this, it's not just about text anymore. The newest models are becoming multimodal, which is just a fancy word meaning they can process more than just words. You can now show them a picture, play them an audio clip, or even a video and ask, hey, what's going on here? This is huge, and it shows just how fast the technology is moving beyond its language-only roots. Seriously, this field is moving at lightning speed. What was cutting edge 6 months ago might be considered outdated today. So let's take a quick look at the key trends that are making these models even more powerful. One of the biggest trends is efficiency. The first generation of these models, they needed giant, ridiculously expensive supercomputers to run. But now, engineers are creating these smaller, incredibly efficient models that can run right on your own laptop or even your phone. This makes AI way faster, way cheaper, and a lot more private, since your data doesn't even have to leave your device. And there are other huge trends pushing things forward too. We're seeing more open source models, which lets anyone build and experiment with AI. They're also being built with much bigger memories. Engineers call them context windows, so they can remember way longer conversations. And super importantly, researchers are getting better and better at reducing those hallucinations. And that brings us to a really important point. For all their power, for all their smarts, these models are not perfect. We absolutely have to talk about their limitations, starting with those hallucinations we just mentioned. So, an AI might tell you with total confidence something like this. Now, it sounds plausible, right? It got the person right, Neil Armstrong. It got the event right, first person on the moon. But the date? Nope, the date's wrong. Armstrong walked on the moon in 1969.
Yep. That little error is what we call a hallucination. It's when the AI generates information that is just factually wrong, but it says it like it's a solid fact. And that happens because it's just predicting the next word, right? Sometimes it predicts a word or a number that sounds plausible, but just isn't correct.
So, what's the big takeaway for you? It's actually pretty simple. You have to use AI responsibly. Always double-check any important facts it gives you. Never, ever feed it sensitive or private information. And maybe most importantly, remember that AI is a tool. It is an amazing tool, but it is not a truth machine. Your own judgment is still the most critical part of the whole equation.
But even with these limitations, the impact of LLMs is just undeniable. They are already starting to reshape entire industries and fundamentally change the way we work, the way we learn, and the way we create things.
And you can see that impact pretty much everywhere. In education, teachers are using them to create lesson plans. In healthcare, they're helping doctors with complex research. Programmers are using them to write code way faster than before, and businesses are using them to analyze data in new ways. This is a truly fundamental shift in how we get things done.
So, let's bring it all home. After all that, what is the absolute simplest way to think about a large language model? It's a powerful computer program that has learned from a library of text so vast we can't even imagine it, and its main job is to predict what words should come next. The best analogy out there? It's like super smart autocomplete on a massive scale. And that leaves us with one final, really crucial question. We have built this incredibly powerful tool, and it's getting smarter every single day. We know how it works, we know what it can do, so the real question for our future isn't about the technology itself, but about how we as humans choose to use it. Who should be in control? That's something we're all going to have to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.